Every day, does it feel like your brain just runs out of energy and crashes at around 3 p.m.? Or are you starting to wince every time you look in the mirror? Or has your get up and go got up and left? We're dedicating this show to give you more energy, more enthusiasm, and better health.
It's time to love your business with Love Your Business TV. Here's your host, Adrian Peck.
So hello and welcome to Love Your Business TV. I am Adrian Peck. I am the founder and owner of Better Never Stops. We deliver business advice and coaching programs to entrepreneurs and business owners who run or want to run £1 million plus businesses. I'm also the author of How to Fall Back in Love with Your Business, the Entrepreneur's Guide to Rediscovering Your Mojo and Enjoying Every Day by Living Your Dream. So in this show, we're going to be talking about the very sensitive subject of men's health. And I'm really pleased to be joined today by Ashley Bishop. Ashley is somebody I've known for about 4 or 5 years now. He is all things expert in terms of kind of bang on you guys, really. He specializes in working with business owners who are kind of 45 years old plus, time poor, energy bad, or time poor, and energy bad, fitness bad, health bad, and tend to be overweight. So Ashley, really welcome to Love Your Business. Great to have you on the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Fantastic. Ashley, do you want to just give us a bit about your kind of background and your journey into being a health and fitness coach? Just tell us a bit about your background, just kind of paint a bit of a picture, really, kind of how you've got to where you are.
Yeah, well, I've always been sort of exercise, fitness, sports mad. Growing up, I was always running around. You name the sport, I've probably tried it. I probably didn't excel at it, I'll be honest, but I've tried it. Going through primary school and secondary school, continued to love sport and exercise, although my PE teacher said I was rubbish at football, but never mind. And realised I actually then also found how the body works fascinating. You know, I wanted to know, well, how do we create energy? How do we develop the body?
Yeah.
So secondary school did PE, went to college, did sports science, came out of college, qualified as a personal trainer. And very quickly in my personal training career, I realised that exercising people in a commercial gym surrounded by loads of other people wasn't particularly personal. So I looked to open up my own facility, which is where we are now. In fact, just through, where is it? Hang on, we'll use the right hand. There we go. Just through that door is a dedicated training facility, although nowadays it's more of a filming studio. I'll explain why in a minute. And I qualified as a PT, roughly 16 years ago, which is when the personal training was just becoming more accessible to the masses, more mainstream. It sort of started to filter down from, the rich and famous, pop stars to more of the masses. So people talk about being in the right place at the right time. I was in the right place at the right time. And realistically, from my location here, I was the only personal trainer in probably a 10 to 12 mile radius, and the only personal trainer with their own dedicated facility in probably a 15, possibly 20 mile radius. So if you wanted someone to help you achieve your health and fitness goals, it was me.
Yeah.
And the problem that I had, I suppose, from the get-go is in my day, it makes me feel older. When I did my PT course, there was no part of it was to do with how to run a business. So I was literally, you qualified, it's like, hey, great, you qualified, you can go run your business now. So it was a real kind of hit and miss, suck it and see type thing. So I literally opened up my doors, and it was kind of, as I now call it, I work with anyone with a pulse and a purse. You wanted to lose weight? I was your guy. You wanted to run a marathon? I was your guy. So what happened is I did become very, very popular. I think by default, even if I was rubbish, I became very, very popular very, very quickly. And I created a very, very profitable business, albeit I was working very long hours. And being a single chap, you don't really care working long hours. But unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, that's completely the wrong word. Fortunately, I then met my now wife. Of course, that whole, we got engaged, we got married, we bought a house, we had kids. And this is where it all started to go a bit wrong for me, because I was working really long hours and trying to balance it all out didn't work. So, of course, what happened, I stopped looking after myself. I stopped exercising, I stopped eating healthily. I was working till late in the evening and trying to then get up and work early in the morning. Roughly, 7 years ago, I suppose, I piled on around about 3-ish stone. I couldn't walk up the stairs without getting out of breath. I was having regular energy crashes. My get up and go had gone up and gone without me. And I was really quite miserable. I wasn't a particularly nice person.
This is obviously you're a PT instructor, so it must have been quite difficult for you.
I was hiding behind baggy clothing. I hid it well, but it was very much do as I say, not as I do. Lying all the time. Yeah, of course I exercise every day. Yeah, I never eat a Mars bar. No, don't touch alcohol. Don't have takeaways. Yeah, every night was takeaway and alcohol fueled. And it just got to the point where, sitting down having that conversation with my wife, who was like, Ashley, I didn't sign up for this. You're miserable, you're short-tempered, you're not very happy, you're ignoring, at the time I only had one, now we've got two, you're ignoring, our eldest son. And I openly admit, I don't remember the first year of his life because it was more of an inconvenience. And that made me realise that, hang on a minute, I've got world-class knowledge in health and fitness. I own my own facility. Why can't I do the work? Why can't I look after myself? Which led me on my journey to then explore, try and find out what was the missing link. And I found that in neuroscience, how the brain works, why we say one thing yet do another. That became sort of then my new geeky pleasure. And that's when I then created the first version of the programs that I now have, which really combined my expertise on all things health and fitness and lifestyle with then the coaching side to actually get my clients to create the habits that would give them the results they desired, that would allow them to then look, feel and in turn perform at their very best.
Excellent. And here we are now. So bizarrely, you've kind of almost described so many business owners that have gone on exactly the same journey that you have. They have built their business at the same time, potentially also at the same time when they have started having families and that kind of stuff. And I think you probably wouldn't want to say it again, but you dropped a little gem in there, which is around that your first child was almost like an inconvenience. And, I'm sure a lot of men feel the same way, that it kind of almost comes in because you're so busy, you're trying to build your business up. Your focus is very much on that. And, yes, the first child and everything is wonderful, but you've still got that focus. You're still the breadwinner. You've still got to get in the to bring in bring the money in. You've got all that pressure of doing all that, and you're trying to grow a business. You've got a child here and now, and it's kind of so you can kind of see all this building up, and it's not. And I really like to say it really isn't unusual at all. I mean, it is such a common path for us men to travel down, without a doubt. So, what are then from that? What are then some of the causes then that then will end up them kind of getting into them having overweight and obviously their fitness stuff?
I think for me, it is part of your journey as a business owner. Time and time again, the conversations that I have is, started the business, all the great intentions. I want more money, more time free, all these things. And of course, what happens is you have to dedicate a lot of time, effort and energy to building and scaling your business. Yeah. And if you've then got a family, they also want your time. So something has to give somewhere. So of course, to create a successful business, we tend to sacrifice the only spare time we have left, which is the time we look after ourselves. Yeah. So a lot of the conversations I have, we talk about back pain, knee pain, hip pain, pain and discomfort. Energy crashes. We get to the afternoon, or in fact, first thing in the morning, we get up and it feels like our get up and go has gotten up and gone without us. We get to the afternoon, we have these energy 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And again, the evenings, you have to, the evenings you're recovering rather than enjoying family time or time with your loved ones. You're sort of, if you're not like that, you're on your laptop trying to get more work done.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
The weekends, the weekends are used for recovery, not for fun. Keeping up with the kids, you struggle to do, from a fitness point of view, you can't keep up with them. You feel like you're a bit of a failure because you're not being a great role model to them.
Yeah.
Typically as well, I think if you can run a successful business, you're quite good at dealing with stress. You're quite resilient, but it starts to pile up. Of course, it's easy to then start getting short-tempered, a bit snappy, and you struggle to enjoy life. You've created the successful business, you've got the money, but you don't have the health to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, you say that we as business owners and entrepreneurs and stuff, we are very resilient. It's part of our nature of what drives us. But that resilience can start showing itself in other ways, and we kid ourselves that we are kind of superhuman, and we can cope with all this stress. It's what we drive for. We're on this stressful life. We're doing all this stuff, but there has to be, and it's always conscious at the back of my mind, is that there's actually these. It's going to come up and catch up with you at some point in life, because you can't have this constant stress in your life without it coming out somehow. I
think we're very egotistical. As you say, we think we're superhuman, and we can just, this won't affect us, and we're just going to plow through, and one day we'll sort it out. And of course, we then play that game where we're stuck in that vicious circle because we've stopped looking after ourselves. Most of the men I chat with, well, I used to be in great shape. I used to play football. I used to be in great shape. I used to be.
Football, rugby, hockey, cricket.
I've now look at the state of me, and it's because you end up, because you've prioritised growing the business, you've deprioritised yourself. You get stuck in that vicious cycle, because then you haven't got the energy, you haven't got to get up and go, you haven't got the headspace to go, right now I'm going to start doing this. Or you play the game of, when things quiet down, I'll do something about it. Oh, when this project is finished, I'll do something about it. The amount of conversations that end with, actually, it sounds great. I love the idea. I love the concept. I love how you do work. I'm just too busy right now. I've got this project on, and then that, and then that, and that. And it's like, we'll talk in 6 months. And I know we'll talk in 6 months, and there'll be the next project.
Yeah, indeed. That's it. There's always something else, and
there's always a reason why.
And when you are growing and scaling businesses, there is always something going on. There's always something that happens that was never in the plan. But that, you're right, because all of a sudden it's kind of almost like the carrot on the end of the stick. You never get to it because it always moves in front of you. It's constant moving feast, and there is no other time like now, is there?
I think, as sometimes I try and point out, when people are saying I don't have the time, it's like, well, look. You think you're going to stay, it's going to be linear. If we talk in 6 months' time, you're going to be in the same position as you are now. You're not. Yeah. If you do nothing now, you're progressively going to get worse. Now, that could be you're going to have more regular energy crashes. You're going to have more illness and time off work. You're going to have more pain and discomfort, or you actually burn out, where literally the body said, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Wallop. And you'll end up having, weeks or months off work. You may even end up in hospital, but it never stays the same. It's always, if you don't do something about it, it's always going to get progressively worse.
And we talked about stress a minute ago, and anything that's under stress, however perceived that stress is likely to break, and that's invariably where the health issues will start coming out. You're then more susceptible to colds, to flu, anything like that, because it just attacks your immune system, and that's always the bit.
And even then past that, it will of course progressively get worse, because you can then start talking about heart disease. You start talking about diabetes. Yeah. And all these other, that will happen if you don't do something about it.
Absolutely, indeed. So let's paint a bit of a picture then. So I think we've covered quite a lot of the common stuff that you see with business owners and stuff. So let's paint a picture of our business owner. He's 52 years old. He's let's be generous and say he's 2.5 stone overweight, and he plays golf once a month when he can, particularly during the summer and stuff. Perhaps even a couple of times a month he might play golf. He's obviously working 12, 14 hours a day. The weekends he is stressed, or is stressed during the week, so that weekends he's having quite a good time, and a Friday and Saturday and possibly even a Sunday he's having a few beers as well, because that's kind of his lifestyle. And then it starts again on Monday, and he's back to the grindstone. He's back, in his business and trying to kind of drive it forward. So that's kind of, and I don't think I've been unkind there in terms of talking about certainly many business owners that I've worked with and met as well through the journey I've been on. Of course, in their heads, they haven't got time because they are extremely time poor and they just haven't got time. And their health and fitness, as you've already said, well, that's a secondary thing. Once I get through this, over this hill, then I'm going to do that. So what's the solution? Because clearly, if we carry on down that road, we carry on with those same habits, nothing is going to change. Something has to change, otherwise nothing will. So what's the solution, Ashley? What's our business owner, should we call him Tom? Tom, our business owner, what can Tom do?
The first thing to do is to understand why your health is vital. And this comes down to a lot of people focus on the tangible results. So weight loss, inch loss, fitness, things like that, very, very focused on what are the tangible results I can achieve. But ultimately, no one really wants the tangible stuff. It's actually what the tangible stuff allows us to do.
Yeah.
So it's sort of spending a little bit of time to really paint a picture, understand, well, why is my health vital to me? Why do I need to do this? Who will I become? What can I do when I have this? For me, I know when I wasn't looking after myself, I was a rubbish father. I was a rubbish husband. I was a rubbish personal trainer. I was a rubbish friend. Yeah. I was a rubbish person. I'm being polite as well. I can soon change that to a different word. So for me, when I'm not looking after, I'm this really horrible person when I'm not looking after myself. So hang on a minute, when I look after myself and I do the right things which are time efficient, well, when I look my best and I feel my best, I am the best version of myself. I'm the best dad I can be, the best husband I can be, the best business owner, the best coach, the best friend. I can inspire my team to be better. It has that rippling effect across many, many lives. So it's really about understanding, well, why is my health vital to me? Because it's when you just focus on, I need to lose 2.5 stone, I'll do it in a month's time.
And invariably, well, that's what leads to the kind of feast and famine almost of diets, where you get the fad diets will go, well, actually, all I want to do is lose 3 stone. If I lose 3 stone, then I know the amount of times that you see people that lose 3 stone and then 6 months, a year later, they're back on it again. Going, but I'm now on this new magic diet that I just drink this special tea now and I lose all this weight, I'm kind of all that.
Yeah. So, and I think it's a bit like as well, it's like creating a mission statement, like a personal mission statement. A lot of businesses have their business mission statement. This is what we're about. This is why we do what we do. This is what we believe in. It's kind of creating that for yourself. To a point where you get, where you get quite, it evokes an emotional response. It inspires you to get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Well, I have it, and I obviously see in my book as well. It's called a personal vision statement. It's one of the things that I work with business owners, where the success of their business, they put that into almost like a storyboard and some very strong pictures, and they have it up on the board. And I could swing my camera around. You could see mine that's up here. My exercise up there is at least 3.5 hours a week is my vision board. So it's something that's in my head all the time, in my mind's eye all the time.
Yeah, so it's the same principle, because your health, if it inspires you, you'll take action, you'll do the work.
Yeah.
And just wanting to lose 2.5 stone, just want to get back into your 32-inch jeans. Nah, it's not going to inspire you to keep doing it.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. Get a really clear understanding. Really define why your health is essential to you, because it's going to impact your life, your family life, your business life.
Okay. So Tom's got this in his head now.
He's ready to go. He's ready to do this.
What's the next step?
Hydration.
Okay.
Water. This is then the first step that I take all my clients through my 28-day health accelerator program, is building a new habit around hydration, because hydration is, I love to call it, it's a quick win, and the return on your time investment is huge, because it doesn't take a lot of time to drink. All right, for the first couple of weeks drinking more water, you will have to nip to the toilet a few more times. There's loads of benefits of hydration, and I could list them all off, and we'd be here for, we'd add an extra 10 minutes onto this, and I don't want to do that. So the number one thing with hydration is, and this is going to sound backwards to start with, all right, but you'll get there. If you are dehydrated by 2% or more, your productivity, your output, your performance is reduced by 10 to 20%.
Wow.
Now, wow, that's a figure, 10 to 20. What does that look like? Well, if we worked on like Monday to Friday, that's 1 to 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So how would you love to gain 5 to 10 hours a week? Scrap that. How would you love to gain 20 to 40 hours a month?
Yeah.
To work in your business, on your business, or more family time. It's a huge return on the investment of drinking more water. How do we know how much water we should be consuming? I've got 2 options for you. The first one is this is going to go downhill, this one. The first one is talking about your pee. All right.
Okay.
When you go to the loo.
Wait a minute, Ashley. We can talk about our pee.
Come on, let's talk about our pee. If it's dark yellow or brown, you are very, very dehydrated.
Okay. Now,
you don't want to be peeing mineral water. Okay. If sort of like an offish yellowy clear sort of colour is what you're going for.
Yeah.
All right. So there's sort of like your indicator. You go to the loo and it's really, really dark. Maybe it smells. You're dehydrated. So every time you go to the loo, that's what you're looking for. Not quite mineral water. So there's the first sort of measuring stick that you can use. The other one is, we all have levels of hydration. Everyone's kind of unique, and there's a really, really simple equation to work out how much is your ideal. And it's very simple. It's your weight in pounds divided by 50, or your weight in kilos divided by 25, depending on how you weigh yourself.
Yeah.
So if you were 150 pounds is 10 stone, 10 pounds roughly. So 100, I've made this simple for myself. 150 divided by 50 would be 3 litres.
Yeah.
That's how much water I need a day for optimal hydration. Now, if you're watching this or listening to this and you're sort of going, wow, 5, 6, for men, I always say cap it at 4 litres a day. And if the number you come to start with scares you, start adding an extra 500 mils a week till you get to that point.
Yeah.
So to make sure you do it.
Does that also, kind of a bit of a cheeky now, does that also clear pints of beer?
Depends. Let's start with caffeine first. So a lot of people drink, especially when you're tired, you don't have a lot of energy, a lot of get go, you drink a lot of caffeine. Well, that can include up to 4 cups of a caffeinated drink. Anything more, that volume of caffeine can start having a negative impact on your central nervous system.
Okay.
From an alcohol point of view, if you're having 1, maybe 2, then yeah, we can go with that. But again, it's more about little and often when it comes to that. So that would be my first step with Tom, would be let's build your hydration up, because it's going to give you more energy, more get up and go. It's going to help you with your productivity during the day. It's going to get you more mentally focused. It's going to increase your productivity. And this is kind of the thing that builds momentum, because suddenly when you've got more energy and you're being more productive, you start getting up more free time to start doing other things. So
it gives you that little bit of boost of energy and enthusiasm to go and do stuff. The worst thing, and I find it myself, when I am tired, is the least, and that's brain tired, not necessarily physically tired. That's the least motivated I am to go to the gym or go out on my bike or go and walk the dog type thing. And that's always when I'm most tired. This is when it's the most difficult time to do it.
Yeah. And of course, when you're sort of excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. No, it's gone. It's run off. When you've got more mental energy and physical energy, you're happy to do more. You'll willingly go and do a workout or go for a walk, go and spend a little bit of time preparing some good quality food. So that's kind of the thing that kicks everything off, is getting motivated. So if that's the only thing that anyone watching or listening to this takes away, start drinking more water, and the impact it will have on you in 30 days time, you'll feel completely different.
Okay, so Tom he's got his mission and vision and clear in his head what he wants to achieve, and he's kind of got that mantra now of being the best version of Tom. Yep. He's now drinking new water. That's drinking more water. So what's next? What's the next step?
Next is we start tackling physical exercise. Now this is a minefield, and although there's no specific right or wrong answer for an individual person, there is a way of exercising which is very, very time efficient. All right, because a lot of people create this obstacle, this belief in their head before we even talk about exercise of I'm going to have to join a gym. I'm going to have to go to the gym. Are they open when I want to go? It's 20 minutes to get there. Then I'm going to have an hour's workout. It's 20. This is 2 hours out of my day. I'll go 3 times a week. That's it. Hang on, I don't have that time. I can't do it.
Yeah. You're good. All you're going to try and do, Ashley, is try and persuade me to do a marathon. I'm not running the marathon.
Exactly. So for me, if you want to become what I call fit for purpose, fit for your life, then I've got an ideal solution. If you want to spend hours in the gym so you can put on your budgie smugglers, cover yourself in creosote and go and stand on the stage, this isn't for you. All right. But if you want to become fit for purpose, so you can run around after your kids, you can create a physique that you really like, this is for you. And it's the fact that you only need to do 15 to 20 minutes of exercise a day.
Okay.
The right way. And you can do it at home with minimal equipment. So suddenly all these obstacles, I don't have the time, I don't want to go to the gym, it's not open. Suddenly 15 to 20 minutes a day, I can find someone 15 to 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And it's minimal equipment as well. So yes, you have to invest a little bit of money in equipment, but it's not a significant amount of money. And again, you can then just jump in the shower and do it.
Yeah.
I typically, and it would be difficult to really break this down in the conversation we're having today, but I typically then break workouts down into 3 separate categories. You've got strength training. So like one day, for example, will be 15 to 20 minutes of strength training. This might be body weight exercises like squats or press ups. It might be using some resistance bands or some adjustable hand weights for chest flies, chest presses, stuff like that, bicep curls. But strength training is there to build strength in your muscles and your joints. And the strength training using body weight or resistance exercises is what's going to help tone you and give you the shape that you desire, that you like what you see in the mirror.
Yeah.
The next day would be then cardiovascular exercise, building up your fitness level so you can run around with your kids. You can run around more. They're the ones saying, please stop, I need a rest, and you're still running around like a nutter. But this is kind of then, your typical running on the spot, jumping jacks, dare I say burpees and things like that. All right, but when you do it the right way, 15 to 20 minutes a day is enough. And finally, especially us men, we tend to neglect this one. Like the third category would be mobility exercises. So this is all about improving your flexibility, your range of movement. This is what's going to help reduce the aches and the pains, the back pains, the knee pains, the hip pains. And again, Tom, who loves playing golf, this is going to help improve his swing, which will mean he'll be able to strike the ball better, he'll be able to hit it further, he'll be able to reduce his handicap.
So what would that look like? So I'm intrigued. The mobility type exercise, what does that?
These are kind of so stretch. This is where we're looking to do stretches, whether they're called like dynamic stretches,
Yeah.
where you're not doing the fixed stuff. It's not like standing in a fixed position. It's where you're moving around to stretch the muscles. I tend to team that up with some yoga based exercises as well, because it's an area that most men really neglect, because I don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. But again, it's the impact that has when we talk about it's giving you more range of movement, more flexibility. It's reducing pain and discomfort, because no one likes living in pain and discomfort. It makes us irritable.
Yeah, so we're not getting younger, really. I mean, Tom's 52. He's not getting younger. So Tom is now. He's got his vision in place, where he wants to achieve. He's now hydrated. He's now doing 15 to 20 minutes of exercise every day.
Yep.
I've got a feeling at some point we're going to come on to diet and food and what does that look like? We
are indeed. Now, diet nutrition is an even bigger minefield than exercise. So I've got two things that I'd love to share with you today that anyone watching or listening to this can then take away and start implementing. So the first one is intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting, there are lots of variations about intermittent fasting. It's been publicized that it's brilliant. It's been publicized that it's rubbish. A lot of people, again, when I mention intermittent fasting, straight away default is that I can't eat anything for 24 hours. And I've tried that one, and it's not particularly enjoyable, and it's not something I do regularly. But there is a variation that has an amazing name called time-restricted feeding. What a great name.
Time-restricted feeding.
Time restricted sounds great. It's nicknamed the 16 and 8. Now, what this basically means is you're going to fast for 16 hours, and you've then got an 8-hour feeding window.
Yeah.
Now, if you do this the right way, most of the time you're fasting is when you're asleep. So what this actually looks like is you're removing breakfast.
Yeah.
Now, removing breakfast has several benefits. Now, obviously, by removing a meal, you're reducing your calorie consumption. And whatever way we cut it, if you want to lose fat weight, you've got to reduce your calorie consumption. So it's cutting out probably 300 to 500 calories a day. Yeah. So you're going to start losing weight automatically. You're going to start losing 1 to 2 pounds a week of unwanted body fat. But also it creates more time. So for example, if you were to do your 15 to 20 minutes of exercise in the morning, you've clawed a little bit of time back. You're not sitting down eating.
Yeah.
There are also some, and this is being heavily researched and studied at the moment, so there's going to be more information on this coming out over the next few years. There are a lot of then cognitive benefits to fasting as well. So there's a lot of research linking intermittent fasting having a positive impact on someone with Alzheimer's disease. There's a lot of research that said, intermittent fasting can help boost your growth hormones. It can help with reducing internal inflammation, DNA repair. So there's loads of other benefits other than the calorie reduction benefit to intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is a great thing when you do it the right way. This time-restricted feeding, 16 and 8, you're just knocking breakfast on the head.
Yeah.
You tend to have like lunch, maybe an afternoon, a snack, and then an evening meal.
But does that not mean then people are just eating more during that 8 hours, or what does that kind of look like?
This is then the second. I'm glad you asked that. Here comes the second sort of piece of information with nutrition. Counting calories is boring. It sucks the life and enjoyment out of food. So I don't recommend calorie counting. Although, as I also just mentioned, if you want to lose weight, you've got to reduce your calorie consumption. So how can you do this without counting calories? And that's what I want to move on to, my second sort of tip, my second piece of advice.
Brilliant.
And it's making sure that every meal or snack you have, there is a good amount of protein present. Now, protein would be things like meat or fish or dairy. And the really simplest way to look at your meal and go, am I eating enough protein, is if you look at your hand and if you look at your palm. Men should be consuming roughly 1 to 2 palm-sized pieces of protein per main meal and 1 palm's worth of protein for a snack.
Right.
So that might be if you were having chicken with your evening meal, most men that would probably be 1.5 to 2 chicken breasts.
Yeah.
So most people tend to have to start eating more protein. But that's the quickest, right? Am I eating enough? Is there enough protein in this meal? Yes or no? Very, very quick, simple way to go, I'm not eating enough protein. How can I add more protein in? The next thing to then look at is where is the greenery? You know, whether it's green leafy vegetables or salad. So again, looking at main meals, you want to have one, if you then made a fist for me, you want 1 to 2 fist-sized portions of green leafy veg or salad with a main meal as well. These things are protein, and then your green leafy vegetables or salad. They tend to not have a huge amount of calories in them, but they've got a lot of vitamins and minerals and all this essential stuff that the body craves.
Good bits, yeah.
So again, this is a way of reducing your calorie consumption, but giving the body exactly what it needs. Finally, we'll then move on to like your starchy carbohydrates. So your pasta, your rice, your potatoes, your stuff like that. But if you were to then cup your hand, we would want 1 to 2 cupped handfuls of a starchy starchy carb, on your plate. So for most people, what that means is they've got to flip the protein and the starchy carbohydrates, because most people would have a lot of, half a plate of potatoes, for example, and a small amount of protein. Where actually it's almost easiest to flip it, where half your plate, if I can talk, wants to be protein, and then a small proportion wants to be your starchy carbohydrates. It's something that you can start implementing straight away.
And it sounds really simple. I mean, it almost sounds too simple, Ashley, because there's so much conflicting stuff out there to try and understand what foods we should be eating. I mean, pretty much every week, somewhere in the press is either something that's you shouldn't be eating anymore, or something you should be eating more of, or you should be drinking 5 gallons of water, or you shouldn't be drinking any water. There's so much confusion out there, and I think what you've just taken us through is almost just sounds too simple in terms of a concept. Just really, really simple. But
simple works. Yeah. To me, this is I have a big issue with the health and fitness world. Is we have created an industry, and I was part of this many, many years ago, which is designed to confuse the living daylights out of people. High fat's not good for you, eat low fat. Low fat's not good for you because they put other additives in to make up for it. Yeah. Carbohydrates are the enemy. Oh, but actually you need carbohydrates because they're a great source of fuel. Don't eat too much protein because it's high in cholesterol. Eat more protein because you need more protein. Do this. There's so much misinformation out there, and this is one of the biggest things that I come across when talking to busy business owners is they've tried all these different methods and none of them have worked for them.
Yeah,
because they're not simple, they're complicated. And actually,
which is why a lot of these kind of faddy diets will kind of work, because actually they have a very simple message, and it says actually, well, all you need to do is drink drink this a litre of this magic tea and eat 3 apples per day, and you will you'll get your ideal weight within 6 weeks. Well, of course you bloody will, because that's not sustainable. That's not something you can do over the long term. And that's the challenge. And it's almost that you could be quite cynical and say, well, actually the industry, the health and fitness industry, has over these years built up all this confusion, so then you can write books about then how not to be confused, because actually this is the simple way. But it's kind of it's kind of self-fulfilling, isn't it?
Yeah, I think for me this is really what I've done over the past 16, 17 years now. I've been through all this. I go through it all, and the system that I have, the 2 programs that I've got, that I've created, they have to meet 3 very specific things. Is this new thing simple?
Yeah.
Is it speedy? As in, is it a good return on your time investment? And is it sustainable? Is this something that we could fit into your lifestyle that you could potentially do for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And every single step in my process that I take my clients through have to meet those 3 criteria. And 99% of stuff that's out there that you can Google and find, it's really complicated. It takes up a lot of time, and it's not sustainable. Yes, it might give you that quick fix.
Yeah.
You then get stuck in that quick fix sort of hamster wheel where you'll do it for 3 to 6 weeks, get results, stop, lose the result. A few months later, do it again, go back to it, and you're constantly on that cycle.
And I think it's probably actually the last one you've got on there, which is that is it sustainable, is probably where most diets actually won't, because the other two will probably work in terms they will be quite quick, they can do, it could be quite simple, but go back to my drink this magic potion, have 2 apples a day, that's fast and easy and simple, but it's not sustainable. It just doesn't have that last piece. And therefore it's not going to work in the long term. You can't carry on.
That's the biggest thing. I've tested all these diets, all didn't work out, and if it's sustainable, then it's in my program and I do it. If it's a lot of stuff isn't sustainable, and that is the key. That really is key. If we can make the thing stick, if we can make it sustainable for you, you'll keep doing it.
Absolutely, indeed. Actually, it's been amazing. Some of the stuff you've shared with us in the show has been super, super powerful. I think it's cut through so many kind of misconceptions, and what you've said and how you've delivered is in such a simple way and very easy to implement. In terms of kind of finishing off, what's the call to action for Tom? For Tom,
yeah.
This show, we've now told Tom that he should be, having that kind of vision and mission of what he wants to be, of being a better version of Tom. We've told him and explained how he could drink more water. We've given him a 15 to 20 minute exercise regime per day. And we've told him now also of what his daily, weekly food intake look like, and kind of obviously doing his 16-8 program as well. So he's got all that stuff. What's his call to action?
He has 2 options. The first one is just to literally is to reach out to me, which is ashley@ashleybishophealth.co.uk, and we can just have a very open and honest conversation about where he is right now, where he wants to get to, and then we can then take it from there into a consultation, and then beyond if we're a good fit to work together. The other option is on my website. We have a health audit, which is a 40 question sort of scorecard, as it were, which gives me a lot of information about where you are right now, certain key areas that you may need to focus on. When you fill that out, I'll then send you a report highlighting these areas that you need to work on and some options of things, again, that you can implement yourself. Because I know not everyone is going to want to work with me, but at least if someone takes just one thing away and starts implementing that, I know it will have a positive impact on their health, their well-being, and that in turn will have a positive impact on their business life, their family life.
Fantastic. Ashley, it's been brilliant. Obviously, I'll stick all of the links back to your website and your guides and your health check into the program notes, so people can hook up you as well. And it's been brilliant. I assume you're on Facebook and all the kind of usual social media channels. You can stalk me on Facebook or LinkedIn. That's where I tend to hang out. Again, thank you, Ashley. Thank you for all the great stuff you shared with us this afternoon. If you want to catch up more in terms of stuff for Better Never Stops, there is, if you go to betterneverstops.global and the free business tools, you'll also find on there we transcribe this show, and it will be into the loveyourbusiness.tv, and there will be a blog on there that will cover all the stuff on here, the recordings, the podcast, the YouTube, and also the links to Ashley and his free guides and stuff. If you want a copy of How to Fall Back in Love with Your Business, please just, again, jump on the website on betterneverstops.global, and you can find the links on there, and you can get a free copy of this as well. If you want to catch up on any previous shows, you will find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, Facebook, YouTube, and loveyourbusiness.tv. And when you do, every time that you watch or you listen to one of our shows, it inspires us to help other ambitious people around the world. And through the B1G1 platform, we actually provide, so every time that you listen or watch it, we then provide a day's worth of business and literacy training to women, to business ladies in Uganda. And so far this year, we have provided 676 days. And I really want to thank you for watching and listening to these shows, because every time you do, that's what happens, and we go on and do that. So thank you on behalf of those guys. So that's kind of it for me and for the show. For this show, as always, stay safe. If you want to reach out to me, it's adrian.peck@peckuk.com. And remember, better never stops.
Love Your Business TV. Thank you. Join us next week and don't forget to subscribe.